Cool. So we definitely didn't change the mic just now. Yeah, so after that concert, I was more excited than I'd been in a good long while because I had been banished to the DC dimension, and it sucked. I hate that city. There's fucking nothing there. Once you do the museums, that's it. That's the only fucking interesting thing.
You might be wondering how many day trips.
And everyone will tell you, oh, but what about the Black Cat? And that's literally the only fucking bar that they talk about. Because it's DC and it only has one. And yes, it's a pretty cool venue. I've been there 1 or 2 times. It's cool.
I think that you saved
several
that.
hundred in this city.
You saved that bar for maybe my second to last day there, with the explicit subtitle that after this we're out of shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
this was the last bullet in the DC chamber.
I remember. So after that night, and let's describe that night. I made not overproofed. I made double Tom Collins because I didn't have a jigger. I just had a bottle of New Amsterdam gin. Some of the worst swill I have ever had the fucking misfortune of having purchased.
I know, it's better than paint.
I was broke. It was $15 for a fucking fifth of it. So hey, that's a bargain right there. And then because I was stupid, I didn't know that you could make your own simple syrup. So I had gone out looking for simple syrup, and it turns out that I had found a mint simple syrup because you can't make mint simple syrup yourself. There's a weird thing with the chemistry. You have to buy something that someone has made, and there's preservatives, whatever in it. So I had
some black sorcery.
Some black sorcery. I don't remember if I had gone to the trouble of actually juicing my own lemons or having bought some one of those lemon-shaped things of lemon juice. Probably the latter, honestly, knowing me at that time.
Oh, you fell prey to the fucking single-use tools in that era?
I was young and stupid.
Better than a coke addiction.
And then we got, I think, only 3 drinks into the evening because we got through that entire fucking bottle that night. And
it was impressive.
And a fifth of any liquor, right, is going to give you around 12.5 cocktails, assuming a 2-ounce base, right? We got maybe 5 or 6 cocktails into that night. So every single drink had to have been a double, which makes enough sense because before long, we were in such fucking pain.
It was impressive. I think it is the closest to the afterlife that I have ever been. Including multiple hilarious car accidents.
There is a fucking note still hanging on the door to what was once my bedroom. It's now my dad's studio. He's a painter.
Oh yeah, his dad likes to laugh at our pain. It's normal.
He does. He's like, you fucking did this to yourself, dumbass. Taped to that door, still taped to that door that I put up 5 years ago, is just a note scrawled in Sharpie because I couldn't get the pen to work, and it shows like the first couple of letters are there. Is just a note that says, "Dad, don't ever let me do this to myself again."
It's a really bad sign when pen technology is beyond you.
I couldn't get it to fucking work. So anyway, that note is still there to my knowledge because my dad is just so fucking
Arya Stark thing going. Pointy.
He finds such fucking mirth in his son's pain.
Oh man, that would be a decent first line of an autobiography. My dad finds pleasure in my pain.
But
the implications might run in directions you don't want, but
the comical pain.
The comical pain. The gag pain.
The kind of pain that, was over once we went to that fucking Hot and Juicy. Oh, by the fucking way, shout out to Hot and Juicy. That was some of the better...
Was that the seafood place?
That was the seafood place. That was the fucking Cajun place that we went to that day and had a whole bunch of crayfish and andouille and shit. Oh, that was the fucking...
To this day, I am convinced that someone just jumped out the back with a net and came back inside and just juiced those things of hot sauce.
There's one in New York. We should go.
I'll do it.
I bet they have outdoor dining. We should go.
It will be a date. I'll risk a little viral death to get that. I won't, because I am a coward. I want to live so bad.
I'm in service and hospitality. The choice was made for me.
Fair enough. All right, let's go play Russian roulette, kids. But yeah, now he has made these gold rushes, which I would say, based on my limited, my limited 29-year experience in love, the gold rush drink well made is better than love.
What did we declare was better than love? Was that Pacific Rim?
We specifically also declared Pacific Rim was better than love.
Okay, so the Gold Rush, at least as good as Pacific Rim. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to stand by that.
Yeah, drink a Gold Rush while watching Pacific Rim, and, I don't know, tell your husband to fuck off. What the fuck's he done for you lately?
You don't need his ass anymore. We found the Beyond Meat version of your husband.
Has he ever punched the side of a building and activated Newton's cradle? I don't fucking think so.
Last week, I was talking about how Pokemon was the anime that got me into anime, right?
Yeah. It was the first zombie bite down.
Yes. And that is true of basically not everyone, from age 26 to, 32, but most people in that, little demographic right there
I am
who are into
still
anime.
having trouble pinning it, and I think it might have been like Dragon Ball or Card Captors. I'm not even fucking sure.
And those are the other candidates. Dragon Ball, Card Captors. A little bit later, there was Yu-Gi-Oh. Not even that much later, I don't think. Maybe like a year after Pokemon, there was Yu-Gi-Oh.
It was a early draw.
Yeah. So we got to talking about gateway anime, right? And the various gateway anime that there has been over, the last 20 years that I've been watching anime.
Oh, confront that number. That's nice, isn't it?
Oh man, I hadn't actually fucking done the math.
Hey,
yet.
old timer, how long you been in the service? Long enough to know I could kick your ass, young blood.
Oh, long enough to fucking know better. That was the thing that I wanted to do, is I wanted to talk about, all these various gateway anime, right?
Yeah,
These
and we might do a
really
mix of new and old. We might focus it on the new. Today will be relatively new.
Relatively new. I don't really think that there's been a gateway anime, like a really big crossover-ass gateway anime that's come out since. Unless, like, something in the last couple of seasons gets a second season and really fucking takes off.
I need to see how often that fucking RE0 shit was someone's first thing. Because I know that it carries some water with people who are not that deep into this nonsense.
I feel like ReZero is really popular amongst, like,
people
the
that
casual
already have
weeb.
the poison.
Yeah, people who've already got the poison. Maybe they watch, 5 or 6 anime a year, right? And that one's their favorite. And I forgive them.
That makes you a better person than me. Isn't that nice, the variance in personality here?
But I don't think that ReZero is a gateway show the way that fucking My Hero Academia is. And that's the one that we're going to be talking about today. And a lot of ink's been spilled over My Hero Academia, so we were going to talk about it very much just in the context of, let's say you're new to anime and this is what's presented to you. How do you now feel about this new world that you were part of? I'm sorry.
I sometimes feel bad for people that come to anime from a well-constructed, relatively terror trope light thing like My Hero Academia, because they might run into a trough afterwards. In their hunt for more content.
Especially because it's a fucking shonen action series, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a really good shonen action series, as I've declared before on this podcast.
Yeah.
Hero Aka is just the formula done very well. And
in terms of disappointment, it's not only done very well, but as basically early on at least, almost a narrative patch of things that were gateway anime right before it. It is very possible for someone to hit a hilarious speed bump after saying, I'm going to put my finger a little deeper into this water, and then they're in the Eisen Bowl. And
I was going to say they're in the Black Clover Bowl! The Black Clover Bowl!
I guess the actual bowl that you would relate to, the fucking Hero Aka shit, would just be Naruto and watching whatever you call that entire late game Madara sequence that I think runs for about the length of War and Peace.
Ninja War and Ninja Peace it was a funnier joke in my mind. I
liked it. Never show signs of weakness. Ride the joke to the conclusion.
Maybe I should just lean into how fucking stupid it was. I'm a shit. Fuck.
I liked when he brought back all the dead people. And I just got to use the words creatively bankrupt to casual conversation for the first time.
just spent the entire fucking series spending 14 episodes each sitting through these people's existence so that you could fucking kill them. I remember my first time calling bullshit on Naruto and being like, just end it already. Was this one bit where I think, God, what was it? It was like the third Hokage fighting the snake asshole. And he had him dead to rights. He had like impaled him on something, and then Snake asshole starts coaxing whatever he'd been stabbed with out of him, and I'm like, I thought this was over.
No. When it comes to my relationship with Naruto, I'm going to talk about another piece of media that's not even anime.
It's supposed to be about
We're going to get to Hiroaka.
Shit about Naruto.
Hiroaka is like a vaccinated Naruto, so I think this is valid.
I'd give it more credit.
Early on. Okay. I give a lot more credit than that, but like in its early foundations, it basically sort of patched the structure of those first like 3 or 5 arcs into something coherent and good. But when it comes to Naruto, I once watched a romantic comedy called I Love You Man. And the premise of I Love You Man is that a guy without many guy friends needs to find a best man for his wedding. And then he meets some stupid Peter Griffin asshole, and the entire movie is hijinks related around that.
It's a shame because Jason Segel is great and really funny, and Paul Rudd is great and really funny, and that movie was neither great or really funny. I
had no proof of either them being great or funny or deserving of human life from that film. Where I'm going with this, despite being Jamaican, I am generally quiet during films. I'm generally quiet in theaters. Yet here I was, very sober, too young to have real confidence, and I still found myself with another young man in the middle, not the back, not the front, neither of the safe gun show seats. To start to say, and fucking end.
And such a fate befell Naruto, a show that had not filler episodes nor filler arcs, but filler seasons.
Yeah, filler seasons, and that was almost a formal trip in a way, just seeing what the random number generator of interns and executives could churn out to fill in the gap in this thing.
I wish that I had words for how much it sucked. Not like the quality, not just the quality, but just how much it sucked on a sort of macro level.
What's really special about this, what's really special about Naruto sucking, is this is after you might get like a whole series dumped on you in DVD form as your first exposure, so you can sort of pick your spots a little more. This is before the pure easy access of streaming or post-BitTorrent piracy. So you're either watching this on TV or walking through the forest of viruses to steal this. And it's just declining like someone with ass cancer.
Okay, so here's the fucking craziest shit. It's A, dating me, and B, making me look like a fucking noob too. Naruto was how I first learned about YouTube, because I was asking one of my friends, like, where are you watching this Naruto show? He's like, oh yeah, this site called YouTube. This was around 2003, 2004. I want to say I was in middle school.
And that's why I will never take YouTube seriously when they look me in the eye and they tell me they care about piracy in a real way. Because like the Kennedys, they are founded on a firm foundation of criminal money.
Whether Google owned them or not.
Yep. So Hiroaka. Let's do the really insulting thing.
Okay.
The thing that I think 25% of the people watching this hate. I think we should explain the premise of My Hero Academia.
Okay, and I'm not gonna be all fucking condescending about it this time. Alright,
Okay.
cool. 80% of humans have superpowers in a vaguely futuristic world. Main character does not. He feels really bent up about this until he meets Ursat's Superman. Ursat's Superman is impressed with his show of heroism trying to save this kid who's an asshole to him from a supervillain, even though he was almost certainly going to die from the attempt. He does not die from the attempt. Ursat's Superman decides to name this kid his successor, and gives him his Superman-esque superpower in the form of a piece of hair. It makes sense in context. And then he goes to superhero school. There. And also there's some bad guys around that are also kind of...
They have opinions about living in a society.
Yes. No, they are the bottom text society. What is interesting about the villains in this is that the villains kind of start at the same level, or are starting at the same level that the heroes are. And that
they do a really fun parallel progression.
Yeah, they're not this monolithic sort of entity that, sort of exists to eventually be defeated. They are, sort of insurgents and malcontents who are, just upset with the way that society looks and are getting started in being bad guys the way that the good guys are getting started at being good guys.
I have a real soft spot for that parallel progression of the antagonist faction. Like, I think it's half of why I enjoyed Aldnoah Zero as much as I did.
God, I fucking loved Aldnoah Zero. All of you can fucking hate me. You can fucking, send me shit in the mail. I don't give a shit. I loved that show.
Oh yeah, we're Aldnoah Zero truthers here, and I don't know, if you want to mail us letter bombs, I will post Sam Legault's address in the text description of this episode.
I just thought that it was all really choreographed really well. A, B, we're getting off topic.
Alright, so Hiroaka, the comic/show we will attempt to discuss. By the way, interesting braciation and experience. I have primarily read this. He has primarily watched it.
I read it. I'm not current with it. I'm definitely not current with it. I think the last chapter I read was a chapter that I'm pretty sure got adapted into the last season. So that's about where I am with this.
Fair enough. I last read it on Sunday because I still have the Shonen Jump app from that special episode. So I guess they win.
I have a little bit of money now. I should probably actually
pay for some anime thing.
Pay for the manga app.
I mean, obviously we've paid for everything else we have consumed on Weeaboo Hell.
Yes. Because
we support this official release.
We do support this.
Truly my feet are planted by the tree of truth by All Might. So yeah, it has become one of the sort of big modern gateway shows in that A, it runs on human television and people watch it in numbers that are even semi-notable.
And not everyone at the gym, back when you could go to the gym, but about 5% of people at the gym, at my gym, had an All Might t-shirt.
I didn't see them at my gym because I was the guy who had an All Might hat. He actually got it for me. And it has started more than one conversation. I suppose that it gets some freebie appeal for American consumers since the whole thing is a spin on superheroes.
Superhero comics.
The same way that fucking, I don't know, what's an example? One Piece chose to filter everything through just the base noun of pirates. This said superheroes.
I almost feel that in One Piece's case, that's kind of reductive.
Yes, because it's fucking Koki.
As One Piece, the fact that they are pirates is incidental to whatever else is happening on screen.
That's a very strong point.
They do have a ship. They are pirates. They are out for booty, I guess. Everything else is just whatever the fuck he decided was gonna be on this island.
This island's noun is Rubik's Cube. They're fighting 9 Color Man who can rearrange people by swiping their heads to the left and right. They beat him up by switching his stickers. Bang, I just gave you 20 chapters, cash me.
So what I'm thinking is, what is the wrong idea about anime that someone's going to get by watching Hiroaka? What preconceptions are they going to now develop and be disappointed by because they're wrong? having watched.
I think that they may get the assumption that shonen rivals are compelling.
I think it definitely has to do with shonen. Like, they're going to look up what this thing's genre is. Ooh, shonen fighting. Man, I need more of this in my life.
I can't wait to ride this quality train to the fucking station.
I bet all of these are great.
I mean, Hero Acca is kind of weird on the strengths and weaknesses, though. Like, I do like pretty much all the established air quote rival characters. Like, you have your Bakugos and Todorokis, and they are actually interesting and do not just sort of fall by the evolutionary wayside in favor of each other as things go on.
No, they establish them as characters and they have them remain there, present. They never feel ancillary at all either. I like that a big part of the emotional sort of stakes in this has to do with Midoriya eventually becoming better than Bakugo at all of this, like being able to fucking take him in a fight.
Oh, for those riding the context train, Bakugo is a fun character to describe on a podcast because I don't know how to describe him without making him sound like the worst fucking character. But Bakugo is essentially that aforementioned childhood dickhead bully, sort of primed on arrogance and his what's seen as his sort of innate heroic potential, battle sense, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
His superpower is that he can cause explosions, and he uses this really, really, really creatively.
Really creatively, what looks like really recklessly, but there's a kind of I've got this dad kind of thing to it. Not literally dad, his dad is a hilarious non-factor.
His dad is like this milquetoast motherfucker. His mom has as strong a personality as he does, but, you know, is kind of just probably was about as much of an asshole as he was earlier on in her life. But
yeah, I know, there's some kind of gene. Anyway, he used to bully our noble hero inheriting the Ursat's Superman powers. And then they just complicate the relationship from that simple base.
Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting. It's fun the way that it does it. It paces it out well.
And he sounds, when they're in middle school, right, at the beginning of these series, he basically establishes himself as this unforgivably massive fucking prick who I'm pretty sure tells Izuku, Midoriya, the main character, to Anhiro. And that's like about as low as he gets right there. And so this is where we start with Bakugo as a character.
He starts as someone who would pass you a note in class, and it's a little linguistic puzzle with 3 letters.
K-Y-S.
And that's his starting personality tile.
What impresses me about this show is that they can start with they could start a character out there and then really just kind of reel you in and make you interested in him becoming a more rounded person.
He almost, when I say he, I mean the author, not Bakugo.
Horikoshi
almost gaslights you into thinking this is going in a Sasuke Uchiha narrative direction, and thank fuck not.
Yeah, no, there's this arc not too far into it, because this is a very long-running manga at this point. There's an arc where they kind of look at you sideways and, you know, make you think that they're about to do a fucking Sasuke retrieval arc kind of thing.
And then, in the language of a 13-year-old, he basically tells Villain Squad to eat a bag of dicks. You're dumb, you're short, you're dumb and short.
All of you people are losers and I'm better than you, and I have been since the day I was fucking born.
The last thing I'll do today is take a selfie while I'm piping your mom. And then you turn the page.
That was the dick-ass rivals' reaction to trying to be recruited by the bad guys.
Yes, it is one of the more...
Because they got the wrong idea about him.
It is one of the more fun reactions to Vader's Speech 3 I've heard in my time.
It was actually the one part of that, of the anime adaptation that I was actually very disappointed in, because in the manga, they frame his refusal of their job offer, his turning down of their job offer as kind of a reveal And they soften that reveal a whole lot in the anime in a way that I was kind of disappointed by, where it's not treated as a reveal sort of so much as a given, I guess.
Yeah.
The scene begins, sort of 15 seconds or so after he says, eat my fucking cock. And, he's trying to figure out how he's going to get out of here. And I didn't like that because it was a really big fucking important character moment where he draws that line right there. Anyway, to refocus just a little bit, Hero Aka as a gateway anime.
It's kind of interesting. Almost all gateway anime are action shows. Like I totally get that they're all like shonen or shoujo shows. That makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. But there are a whole bunch of comedy and romance things that gain traction elsewhere. But all the big hit...
You gotta be into anime that, because anime does action shit so fucking uniquely that it's always unmistakably anime, right? And it has its own kind of set of appeals and, hooks, right? And so, like, when one can really cross over and make someone who has not really watched anime before be like, oh, this is interesting right here. I've never seen anything like this. I think that's why the crossovers are all, big action series, be it like Sailor Moon or Attack on Titan or Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, etc.
Hellsing, if you ride the edge. I ride the edge.
Was Hellsing a gateway?
No, I think I just read that way too early, but I'm sure that was good for my development. Oh, he killed so many people.
He was really big into doing that. I remember just being impressed with the fucking I Love War speech and how long it was.
That was a time. You have a good point about how anime does action. Like, it's almost frustrating as someone who enjoys Western animation that so few action shows are given the room to breathe to compete on that front.
Oh, are you gonna?
And the ones that do are great.
Me right now? Are you goading me into going
I'm not
on that rant?
I'm not goading you because it's just an opinion and an emotion we have, and I'm genuinely ass-pained that this is a thing. I don't know. Sorry, ass-pained is a very sophisticated term for mildly frustrated as I consider things that truly matter in life, such as the number of action TV shows in my niche that get made per year, which is how I judge the quality of the world. Or I can crack open a newspaper and tell you that I want to kill the president. Sorry, hug the president. That's the new Twitter rule. You can't say you want to kill the president. I want to kill the president.
What, were you thinking I was gonna stop you?
And that was the last episode of Weeaboo Hell. It's hard to get these things made in America on a studio level. I mean, they happen, and when they happen, they're good. They take off like wildfire. They're still printing money off of Avatar to this day in ways that may be deleterious in the near Netflix future, knock on wood.
Well, here's the thing. And this is going to be the seed of a future episode right here. It's my hot take. Breiki, however the fuck it's actually pronounced out loud, I don't care. No longer involved with this live-action Netflix adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and so fandom has been like, boo, of course it's going to suck. Point of fact, they were very involved in the production of The Legend of Korra, and that sucked.
Oh, yeah.
So their presence is not required for this to be good. And I say that this is the seed for a new episode because, it's not exactly gospel, me saying that Korra sucked, but it did indeed suck. Pretty hard, in fact.
That Korra hate session is like the Chinese democracy of this podcast.
It's because I'm going to have to watch it again. And I don't want to because it's bad.
Fair enough. Returning to good things. So most crossover anime, manga, what have you, are action. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
I'm trying to think if there are any that aren't, and I'm really just fucking drawing a blank. Love Hina? I don't know. I feel like people I don't think
normal people watch Love Hina. Yeah,
I really feel like people who watch Love Hina were already in anime.
You are already in the anime mafia if you're watching fucking Love Hina.
I would love to meet the person whose first anime was Love Hina. That's like that's a weird.
I think they're in jail.
They might be in jail. They might have some really interesting ideas about
Their third divorce.
how one should pursue a relationship or several at the same time, perhaps.
Do you think they have just a mace scar around their eyes, like just a dried up area?
But it was an accident.
Yes, your officer. He's over there. He's innocently fumbling with his glasses in the corner. He's fallen on 4 women today.
Fallen.
Fallen 5 feet ahead. Across traffic.
I'm thinking about shows now and just the implications of them having, in this case, hypothetically, have been a gateway anime. What if Prison School gateway anime?
Well, if Prison School was a gateway anime, I would be sort of just thumbing through my workload saying, I gotta write an ad for the cure for cancer now? Man, that is rough. And then you'd say, hey, hurry up, we gotta get to the Kumbaya dance with people of all races and religions outside in half an hour. Move your ass. Like, God, stop rushing me. You know we're immortal now anyway. It doesn't fucking matter.
Anyway, you guys want to join me on Mars tomorrow? We're gonna tie one off with a bunch of green babes.
And then presumably one of the green babes would batter one of us within an inch of our life and then explain the appeal of water sports.
And we would come so fucking hard.
like a rocket. You know what's nice about Hiraka? It contains all the stock quasi-pervoid humor to one character. A guy who stands there like the guardian of the gate.
I'm trying to...
Except for the sort of Mount Lady thing.
I'm trying to figure out if Mineta, which is the character he's describing, is a work or a shoot. And sometimes with Mineta, I feel like I'm being worked just a little bit.
I have my own theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Mineta is a dream catcher who captures all the editorial visions of what some wacky sexual comedy would be like in this program.
Oh, he's just there because he needs to be there?
And absorbs them.
It could be.
So that he may not haunt the main plot line.
I know that he's got some fucking serious go-away heat in the fandom.
I think if Mineta
he is not a popular character, at least in the States.
I think if Mineta wasn't there, there might be an editorial input version of My Hero Academia where Todoroki's all about the pussy. And we would all be worse off.
I would love to see a horn dog version of Todoroki where he's the exact same character and also he just cannot stay away from skirts, man. Like he'll brood over, how he doesn't want to use the fire side of him. And then, he'll be in the middle of his speech and then fucking Yaomomo will be walking by and he'll start trailing off.
There's be a thin trail of smoke following him.
Oh man, that sounds truly awful.
Do you know why you don't have to deal with that?
A mobile character assassination squad.
Mobile character assassination squad. Remember that turn of phrase when we hit the fucking Korra thing?
Oh man, do they fucking show up in book 2? Holy god.
Do you think, I don't have an answer for this myself, I'm just shooting the shit here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in particular about My Hero Academia other than just being good, because, I don't know, Vinland Saga is good, that particularly makes it a strong candidate for a sort of crossover thing?
I think it has a whole lot to do with the superhero thing. But because here's the thing, it's doing a whole lot of stuff that that young adult actually does pretty well, right? Where it kind of
plants relatable figures in a familiar milieu. Like a young adult thing this will be like, this is the young adult detective story where this hormonal teenager is running around.
Well, I'm gonna say it stokes the imagination of the reader to sort of imagine themselves able to exist in this world, right? This is why this was the genius of Harry Potter. Yes, I know.
Yes,
but
yes. All turfs to the fire.
All turfs to the fire. This is the genius of like the idea of Harry Potter, right? The reason that it is as successful as it is because that your average 8-year-old or 9-year-old just acquired the ability to put themselves through a novel. They can imagine themselves, right, at this fantastic place doing these fantastic things, and here's 4 discrete sort of personality types that they can kind of shoehorn themselves into to make it seem more like they could be a little bit more part of this world. And I think a lot of the more successful young adult stuff, whether it be young adult novels or just media aimed at people who are coming of age, right, will do something like this. They will find a way to build a world and then have that world be
accessible,
and then have that world be very accessible and very projectable to the reader, to the viewer. And Hiraka does that really well. In that, it comes up with this idea of quirks that all seem to be based very much on someone's personality type, right? So you can get right in there.
Infinite personal iterability, which is fandom cocaine.
This can get dangerous, by the way, as is the case with Sonic the Hedgehog. Google.
I was literally about to say you can hedgehog yourself with this.
You can hedgehog yourself into,
and there is no way back.
So like this is a tool, but it's a volatile tool. It's like fucking it's not quite radioactive, but it's like contents under pressure. It's like nitrogen.
I would say it's alcohol addictive.
I mean, alcohol is also explosive. I'm really trying to go with the explosive metaphor here.
Fair enough. Okay, ride the Bakugo line of logic.
No, the reason that Hiraka was so successful is because A, it has a very accessible premise, and B, it has a very projectable premise. Anyone could, come up with a Hiraka version of themselves because quirks are so fucking. They could kind of fucking be anything. This is, the JoJo legacy right here, right? And I think if you go through a whole lot of other gateway anime over the years, with, exceptions, this is not a hard and fast rule, but.
Yeah, you're not necessarily thinking you would walk through the fucking Hokuto no Ken waste kicking ass and taking names.
No, probably not.
That is a particular brand of power fantasy.
Like, which Bruce Lee would I most look like?
It's Bruce Lee.
It's Bruce Lee. So, you get shows like Pokemon, right? Where the idea becomes, ooh, what would my team look like? Well, there's a game where you can figure that out. Or, stuff like... Actually, Attack on Titan does not have this so much, but stuff like Naruto totally does. Like, what would my ninjutsu look like?
So many of these runaway hit show comic Shonen Jump games are fly-by-night. Because if you make those like a B, you could just print franchisable money for some time as a studio.
Was there any consensus on whether or not the second Attack on Titan game was any good? I hear... Okay.
People seem to enjoy going fast in it. That seems to be a main edge.
Well, I do like going
The controls are supposed to be a little fucky.
Yeah.
Which is hard for a third-person action game. Like, that is...
You hand that to any studio that knows what the fuck it's doing, and they could figure that out.
Oh, what if we took Itagaki out of sex jail? No, he belongs in sex jail.
Which one's Itagaki?
He was a Ninja Gaiden 2 guy.
Oh, he's in sex jail?
Oh, yeah, he was, like, sexually harassing interns and shit. I don't know if it's an intern, but just underlings.
The phrase intern is fun for this sort of thing.
It is, and he is...
There is nothing fun about sexual harassment, but just in any context. Like, doing anything unfortunate to an intern, whether it be, sexual in nature or not, just abusing the intern.
If someone was strapping underlings to a rocket... Intern is so much funnier
intern
than
is just,
account manager.
I think it's just because intern is a really funny word.
They have internships in My Hero Academia.
They do.
I really like the mentor character in that arc, by the way.
the future guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was cool.
Mr. Clean.
Captain Midnight? No, that's actually just a character.
No, Midnight's the one who puts people to sleep, right?
Well, there's Dr. Midnight. He's from DC Comics. That's definitely not it. Fuck, what's his name? So there's a lot of characters in here, Aka, and Sam is getting older, and he's starting to lose his ability to encode all of them. Sorry
and after
about
we
that.
record this episode, we're gonna wheel Uncle Sam out to the porch so he can enjoy some moonlight and talk to his old dead friends to himself.
Oh, how many of your old friends are dead? We're gonna play a really fucked up game right now. How many people that you called a friend at one point in your life or another are dead?
I've got a really good survival rate that's about to dovetail in the next 10 years.
Dovetail?
As in, none of them have died yet, to my knowledge.
I don't think you're using the term dovetail right. Dovetail is when two things become one thing.
No, I'm right. Me use words good. That's about to dive down, crash, spiral. A bunch of people will die over the next 10 years. Are you happy? Are you fucking happy,
yeah.
Sam? How many of yours?
1.
Exactly 1.
Just 1.
2 if I get hit by another fucking car. I'm bitter about that.
Yeah.
Sorry to joke when we just mentioned your dead friend. I'm very sorry.
Like, we had like a falling. It's weird, right? No, like when someone you kind of had a falling out with dies, right? And you were left only with complicated feelings that you don't really know how to feel about. Like, you're not exactly sad. You're just sitting there very confused. And every time someone I've known dies, and it's happened, I want to say 3 or 4 times in my life, right? Every time someone I've known even halfway well dies, I have been left less with sorrow, because thankfully it's never one that I've known that amazingly well. I've left less with sorrow, more with questions. And I never get any answers to them.
I felt similarly when people in my life died, only the questions were, where is God? How do I get my hands on him? How do I avenge myself on the world itself? Yes,
some people...
I
get that some people who are
very stable,
measurably closer to you than the folks in my life who have passed.
Dude, I think I even felt that way about B-Cast. Like, fucking, I wasn't that close with one of my grandmas, and I was still just shaking it at the moon.
When my grandfather died, that was when I was left with the big kind of stare up into the sky and be like, so what is any of this? You know, just like, I got very pensive for like an entire week. And then my dad, I was, because my dad, right, he was the one who got raised halfway, you know, his parents got divorced when he was very young. You know, got kind of halfway, you know, this guy raised him. I was asking him, like, are you all right, Dad? And then my dad gives me this great fucking answer where he's like, Sam, the man ate a giant bowl of ice cream every night for 30 years, right after smoking an entire pack of cigarettes. He's behind schedule at this point. So I've been dealing with this for about 10 years now. I've gotten a pretty good head start. I'm sad, yes. I'll be fine. It's been, you know, like,
That's an impressive take on it.
My dad's a very practical guy. I think I got quite a bit of that from him.
I want us to talk about, I mean, most shonen are idealistic. Real awkward.
How the fuck did we get here?
I don't know, do people even die in Hero Acca? Not really.
It's the rye.
It's the rye?
We're both a little bit drunk right now.
We are both a little bit drunk, and I think it's a softer drunk than the yeah kind of thing we normally do.
I fucking knew it was something.
Today on a very pensive Weeaboo Hell, after talking about the bouncy idealistic series My Hero Academia, we talk a bit about death, and how you handle death, and your relationship with death. Hiraka has a very idealistic approach to ideas like sacrifice, and a lot of shonen do, but Hiraka makes them feel a lot more inspiring and a lot less bullshitty. And I'm interested in why, in your opinion. Since you normally have strong opinions on this thing. I think sometimes it's just how strong you press the gas and when, and he just has a good sensibility for it. I think it also the integrity of the base story will just alter how willing you are to contend with heavy-handed themes like that.
Yes,
like
but
if the
I feel
story is losing air. Oh, sorry, you had an idea. You had a statement.
Like, I agree broadly, but I feel as though you can use that answer to not look very closely at stuff. I would posit that it is because Horikoshi goes out of his way to earn these moments, in ways that other shows in the same category, other manga in the same category, will pretend that they have earned these moments.
Sorry, just when the soft piano comes in.
The soft piano and the fucking swing. Yeah, no, like, you can only show me that fucking swing so many times before I think he deserved to be alone.
The fucking swing comes in like, hey man, I know you're committing a little genocide, but what if you didn't?
Because I was alone on the swing. The
guy listening to him give this corker of a speech will drool softly from the side of his mouth.
And I think a whole lot of this has to do with they're just not banging that drum all the time the way that they were in certain other things. Midoriya's dreams being crushed as a 7-year-old or whatever. That was only sad once because then other stuff happened. But it definitely sort of informs how humble he is going forward. And I think like that's. And they don't, and that, like I said, they do not bang on that drum because that's not really.
Yeah, they don't milk that one sequence forever. It's not really
a source of trauma for him. It's more just, again, it's just something that informs who he is as a person. That's good. That is the correct way to write trauma in a character, rather than like, this is why you should feel sad for them. Oh, did you forget? I'll remind you. It's less that and more, this was a really, really important and unpleasant moment in this character's life. But it's important that you know about it. Just this once, because I trust that you don't have the memory of a lemming. Just this once. That once you see this, everything that they do is going to make that much more sense to you, right? And do you want to cry in this show? Is there like stuff that you want to see that makes you sad? Cool. Here's some new stuff. Here's some new stuff that happens that's kind of sad, that is made more sad by the fact that you already understand these things about this character. And we trust that you do. We trust that you understand these things and remember these details.
Jeez, I haven't cried in a fucking show or movie since some shit with a dog when I was in fucking middle school. I need to run some kind of fucking back-to-back Grave of the Fireflies Your Name gauntlet.
I've been telling you to watch Anohana. Like, it was on my top 5 of the decade list.
Fair. Oh, man. I think if I just came back next week and said, watched it, lame.
It sucks.
I think you would actually just stop talking to me for a while.
Fireworks. What a piece of shit metaphor.
Oh, man. I'm sure it's a corker. All right, so we've talked a bit about My Hero Academia today. Mm-hmm. I hope you've all enjoyed being with us and talking about death, I guess.
For whatever. Oh, again, because like...
Because, we're talking about gateway anime, and instead we're talking about fucking death.
We've been drinking dark liquor.
Out of the contemporary batch of Shonen Jump things, I really would recommend My Hero Academia before all things not called Chainsaw Man, because Chainsaw Man was made for me.
To borrow a riff from another podcast...
If you were to ask me to list the comics that I wish that I had written, Chainsaw Man would be near the very top, next to like fucking Spider Jerusalem running around. That is how high on the my shit scale Chainsaw Man as it is on this date is. Man, I hope the ending doesn't suck. That would be fucking hilarious if Chainsaw Man just started shitting itself after all this high praise I've been heaping on it.
It's happened.
It has happened.
It's just fucking happened.
Like, even the God of High School started, like, speeding through its plot at dumb speed because they tried to cram, like, 112 chapters of comic into one season.
There's so much shit going on in the God of High School. Ultimately, I don't mind because it's like, what? It's less... I think my thing with the God of High School is...
I'm processing it on the mental layer that I use for fighting game cutscenes, so I'm alright.
Yeah, and it is a fighting game. No, with the God of High School, I'm presented all this stuff, and I don't understand any of it, right? But I never really feel like I need to in the way that, you know, like another series that has a name, sure.
Tower of God.
I wasn't throwing shade just now, but sure. Well, present me all this stuff and act and like kind of stare down its nose at me for not knowing what I'm looking at. This was
just a Satsuki Kyuri and just vermin.
Yeah, exactly. And whereas God of High School will just show me all this weird fucking shit and be like, just go with it, dude. I'm like, all right, go.
All right, sure, yeah. Karate is that powerful, and so is Taekwondo.
Karate is that powerful. You could cause a natural disaster with Taekwondo. Fuck it.
Taekwondo should evidently be controlled like nuclear fucking weapons.
I'm telling you, yeah, no. How did you describe it? Zoomer Baki?
Yeah, I just got the Zoomer Baki the grappler. I stand by that description.
No, that is it's extremely apt. Yeah.
Anyway, this has been Weeaboo Hell.
That's Weeaboo Hell.
I am Denard Dale,
I am
also
Sam
known
Legault.
as Jesus of Nazareth. Lightning, no lightning. Let me cross myself real quick. And
Was there ever lightning?
that may have been more of a Greek pattern. Anyway, go to weeaboohell.com. Fucking, you've already found the show. Wherever you found it, just keep rocking this source. You'll be fine.
In case it's someone's first episode, you got to do the thing. So do the thing.
Okay. So yeah, we're on Spotify, iTunes, all that shit. Weeaboohell.com or See More Evil. SEEMOREEVIL.com. They'll never know I misspelled that because I'm going to edit that out.
Are you gonna edit this out?
No. Anyway, thank you all for listening. We appreciate you as always. Keep the faith. Fuck 12.
Fuck
Have
12.
a good weekend. Fuck 12.
Fuck 12. Anime sucks. If you like anime, fuck you.
Fuck
and
12.
We'll see you next week. Fuck 12.
As in SEEMOREEVILE.com. EVIL. Fuck.